Hello, I'm back again and a little earlier than usual for sure, only because I did a full beat glam and I figured why not put it to use. I'm trying that e.l.f. Halo Glow foundation and it's glowing. Oh my god, it's actually, yeah, you can see it. So I figured I would utilize this makeup and make another video. And as per usual, I never know what to talk about, but I don't care because I think the profundity is rooted in just having a conversation. We find something unique, something nuanced to talk about, and I will take it away. I'll take over and we'll make a video out of it. But anyway, I guess I'll tell you about my lazy Sunday. I cooked for my mom and I made shrimp pasta. And then I started the show DTF St. Louis. It's not bad. Not really my type of show. Although I don't stick to any genre, especially with TV. I will pretty much watch anything. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, oh well, you know? But I mean, you know, like there's a twist which kept me interested, and then also Jason Bateman. Yeah. Well, you know, but I do think he's a really good actor, and it's just, you know, it's yeah. Anyway, so started that show, and then oh well, this has been an ongoing thing, and this is probably the only type A thing about me. I always have a list of things I need to do today and tomorrow, and I've been doing this since I was like 13. So I made my list, and I have a couple of things left tonight. So there's that. And what, fuck, what else? Oh, well, I went to Walmart and I got icing because I want to bake. And what's cake without icing, you know? So, well, I like it because I think it's a it's not really the icing that I love. Holy shit, I'm really talking about nothing. But it's the fact that I get to add sprinkles. You can't really add sprinkles on a dry cake. So I got myself some cream cheese frosting. So good. And what else? Oh, well, I don't know if I've ever told you guys this, but I play D&D. So this weekend I attended D&D, and we try to keep it to every 2 weeks. It's with my friends who I love so much, and I am a tiefling, and my move is like the Hellish Rebuke, which is pretty cool. And I remember we started last year, and this campaign I think it's been running for a long time. I could be wrong, and this is my first time playing D&D. A lot to say, but I started many months ago, and I remember I got really into it, like the backstory and developing it and all that stuff, and you know, so that was the hook for me, you know. And really it's because I told my friends about how obsessed I am with Sims, which then which then they were like, you'd make a great DM, a dungeon master. And I'm not equipped with the knowledge to actually take over a campaign, but it has been really fun to play. So I did that this weekend, and then spent time with family, so that was awesome. And I got to see my cousins, and it was a vibe. It was really cool. And then I went out, just going out a little bit, out on the town. So I got to dress up and whatever. I think that's just my typical weekend anyway. It's either like D&D or I'll go out, or sometimes both. It just depends. I don't know. I guess I'll share things about myself. Whatever I do, I don't know. I just have this tendency to track myself, my behavior, my thoughts and stuff, in this very neurotic sense. So that being said, whenever I want to like share something about or who I am, either I gravitate towards writing, or if I want to keep it casual for some reason, I just want to talk about animals. sue me. I don't know, but I do. And anytime in the group setting, I will always pop that question like, oh, what's your favorite animal? My favorite animal is orca, and I've said that before. I love orca so much, and the story is like anybody else pretty much. It's really not that unique. I thought it was to me, but I used to be deathly afraid of them, especially when I was a kid. And then, like anybody else, I watched Blackfish, and you know, this revelation of the abuse, and really I think that was like another level of consciousness that I achieved, where I had become aware of, you know, animals in captivity and the abuse that they receive, and just to be held captive with no intention of rehabilitating them is, oh my God, so sad. So from that, I started to learn about orcas, and I watched more documentaries, and that got me, why am I stuttering? That got me very interested in, you know, their emotional complexity and their cognition, and, you know, them having culture or tradition even per pod, because demographically they're placed in different locations, so they have, I don't know, like a variation in language and dialect and stuff. I think that's so fascinating, and their matriarchy, so fuck yeah. But anyway, what else? I want to talk about myself, but then I always feel so awkward, or figuring out a topic. And it's funny because like I was telling my cousin last night that like, holy shit, like I think I just realized that I am a chatterbox. I don't think I like to stay quiet often, and it really, honestly, it depends on the conversation too. If I feel like it doesn't pique my interest, then I don't know how to elaborate or maintain the conversation. It's so weird because like when I was younger, when I was like 18, 19, 20, I used to be so good at just masking and having like, you know, frivolous conversations that don't pertain to any of my interests at all. But I don't know, I used to be so good. And I remember I joined a local film community, and it was a great opportunity for me to connect with other writers and other filmmakers. And sometimes, you know, it's a hit or miss. And you don't, I don't know, when I was younger, it's like, well, I don't know who's a creep. And I used to be able to foster conversations and be such a good listener. And I think that might be something with age, where over time, when you kind of cycle through the same certain archetypes of people, particularly men, you just learn how to sift conversation and find really the gems that are worth like talking about, you know. And it depends on the person too, but I guess what I'm saying is that like I am not picky in this like, in this not righteous necessarily, but like I'm above it, I guess what I'm trying to say. I'm not picky in that sense. It's just a matter of interest. And so I think I have trouble making conversation, or small talk rather, unless really, I think that the fundamental factor for me is humor. And then in order to like really kind of, I guess, qualify someone as like a friend that I love and care for, emotional intelligence is so important to me, you know, just to have the same values and outlook on things. So yeah, it takes a minute. Otherwise I think I stay quiet, but I try to be funny. I think, I don't know if I come across funny here on YouTube, but I like to be goofy. I don't know, like for the life of me, I don't think I could ever, I want to be like mysterious and, you know, very collected and calm, but I'm lucky to have a very goofy family, so when we're out and we're hanging out, I can't help it. I just would rather just, I don't know, goof around and be stupid. So anyway, yeah, humor is super important to me. And you know what, like as we were talking, I guess the gem that I found that I want to elaborate on is age, and just, you know, like the maturity that we acquire over time, and some of the differences that I've begun to notice. And it's like, it's strange because, you know, here's how I want to put it. When you're young, you're experiencing everything that you do experience for the first time, pretty much. And you know, throughout life there are other things that I've yet to experience. I'm still young. But you know, I like there's a limit. And like, holy shit, my AC just went off. Oh my god. Fuck, I was just getting into it. I don't even know if I should turn it off. I'm gonna turn it off. You know what? I'm too lazy, so it's fine. What was I saying though? Well, yeah, maturity, right? And the fact that we've experienced things when you're young for the first time, you know? And that being said, whatever, when you get older, that doesn't mean you've experienced everything. There are plenty of things, you know, we have yet to learn and see and understand. But, you know, certain things become a pattern. And like I said, people, right? You know, and I've mentioned in my videos before that I love people. People bring color to my life. That's like a favorite phrase or sentence that I like saying and repeating, but obviously I'm human. I can't practice anything in its extremity. That would be detrimental to my own identity. But anyway, I just thought that would be a good example to give. But, you know, I find it so, and I had mentioned this, that like I have a tendency to kind of track my thought pattern and see, you know, where I stand. And I've made it a point in my life to ensure that my mental health is in perfect shape, or as good, it's as good as it needs to be, or can be. So that being said, I like psychoanalyzing myself a lot, and I've begun to notice that number one, things have calmed down plenty for me. And because I've had repetitive experiences, not ones that are too large, but the minute ones, the trivial ones, I've learned to handle them a little differently and kind of, I guess, ameliorate my own anxiety, like even in certain social situations, because I mean, I guess I'm touching on that because I've given that example already. But even other ones, you know, I've expressed that I have, you know, obsessive compulsive disorder, and certain issues that I fixate on when they were new to me, oh my God, the rumination would take hours and hours for me to, I guess, compulsively deal with. And my compulsion is like journaling, so I will keep writing and writing and writing about them. But it's interesting because when I become aware of the pattern and the thoughts that I have, weirdly enough, like I just get exhausted, you know, and I'm able to, from that exhaustion, like, oh, I've seen this before, you know, I'm able to kind of circumvent or mitigate that issue or that obsession or that obsessive thought. So that's a big plus for me. Oh my gosh, you know, that is, people who have OCD would understand how it feels to kind of to climb that hill, that mountain, and be able to feel that sense of like I conquered something that has policed me throughout the entirety of my life. Now I can't escape OCD, and there isn't, you know, like a fix-all remedy for it entirely. And it's interesting because now it's not regarded as an anxiety disorder, but I think it rings as one, and we all, OCD or not, I think we all obsess over stuff. But anyway, that's totally besides the point. I think, you know, there's so much beauty and charm in this sense of maturity, you know, to experience life. And oh my gosh, like imagine, I can't, like when I'm 30 or when I'm 40, when I'm 50, like how life is going to look for me, how I'm going to think, how I'm going to, because also, you know, when I was young, like I said, I used to hold all these conversations that were unnecessary or brought me no benefit, you know, and it would tend to be like I gave the example of like, you know, being in like different societies and it just being like creepy men. I just don't know how to escape the conversation. But you know, I was just gonna say that like things get so calm for you that you kind of develop your own voice. And it's weird because it's like, it's not so much like it's a decisive change, you know? It could be, but for me, I think it was just this exhaustion to perform, exhaustion of being inauthentic. It's just a weight, you know, the exhaustion of that anxiety I may feel. And from that, I feel liberated. I'm able to, I guess, be myself more, and I'll notice it in little things, like, I guess even like my volume, you know, or like the depth of my voice, it's different. And you know, if you watch my earlier videos on YouTube, I think I was a little high pitched. And it varies, you know, but I think I was a little meek. But whatever, you know, I feel that growth. I feel that, like, I don't care. Like, I don't want to perform. I don't want to adhere to your expectations of what a conversation should be, you know. This is so antithetical to my last video, or one of my older ones, where I was like, I love people, and I do, you know, and I could talk about that forever too, and all the interesting experiences I've had just because I, you know, decided to, like, you know, pitch a conversation with someone random, and I have a lot of fascinating stories, and not ones where, like, I feel like I treat people like a novelty necessarily, but rather just, I guess, that transaction of I'm sharing myself and you're telling me about yourself, and that's something to hold on to and cherish, and that's what it is. That's what humanity is. But anyway, I think it's more like the development of my identity and what I stand for and what I believe in, and, you know, things I don't want to shy away from, you know, my honesty. So that stuff, it just comes with time, and that factor of, like, slowing down, that's really nice too. You know, kind of reassessing values, and I've spoken on this many times as well, that you are not obligated to meet a societal expectation, and as I've used this word already, and it's kind of like a, what is it, like a buzzword, you don't, you know, you are under no obligation to perform, and yeah, like I said, I feel this way now over time, and it's not, like, perfect, and that's what I mean. Like, I can't wait till I'm 30, I can't wait till I'm 40. Oh my god, I'm gonna be so hot when I'm 40, because I just know I'm gonna learn so much in life, and I'm going to feel more decisive, and I'm going to be more thoughtful in my choices and my words, I'm sure, you know. But whatever. It's funny because, like, I was ranting to my cousin last night via text. I was super tired, and I went off just for the fuck of it. And I recall starting on the subject of, like, you know, sometimes we make decisions that we make them without any concern for the ramifications. And it's important to celebrate the fact that you've made a decision. And let's say you don't even like a decision. Then you celebrate the fact that you had thoughts and feelings that prompted you to make that decision. You know, kind of like that. And then I just went on about, like, what it means to be individualistic, to understand yourself, to nurture yourself, because only you can understand yourself best, and therefore make decisions that are most aligned. And of course, like I said, nothing can be practiced in its extremity, but it's so fascinating that the end of the other spectrum is, you know, kind of believing in the harmony of us as a people and the unity behind it. Or forget the word unity, because I'm gonna place that later. I built a map for this discussion there, or whatever I'm talking about, but, you know, that collective consciousness kind of thing, where we need each other in order to exist and grow. So that's the other end of the spectrum. But what I find fascinating is that both variables represent the concept of unity, you know, the individuality, the oneness. Oneness is, like, not synonymous to unity, but it's a coalescence of something, at least. But when it is a coalescence, it is one, you know. So I find that so fascinating that, like, or I find just analyzing this stuff or reading into it a little bit fascinating, because, you know, I mean, it goes both ways. Like, on one hand, you know, I like to be the individualistic and even at times introverted, but on the other hand, I am so enthralled by people. So yeah, I don't know if I went anywhere with this video. I really just wanted to share my foundation. But thank you so much for listening, and I hope to see you next week. Or yeah, wait, what is my tagline? I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, rest of your week, and I will see you soon. Bye.